Where is your identity? So, if I was going to speak to you about something that I think affects a lot of people, and most people that are watching this are going to be able to relate to this, and this comes from the heart because I've seen it happen many times, various people around me in my life, and fallen victim to it a couple times myself. But one of the most dangerous traps in life is trying to find your identity in anything other than Jesus Christ. It can be subtle. It feels natural at first. It even sounds noble at times when you do it, but it really is spiritual quicksand because we're living in this world that we're constantly bombarded with find yourself, right? People are told to define who they are through their relationships, their careers, their achievements, their appearance, their passions, right? Their possessions. So you see people pouring themselves into their job or maybe their marriage, their social media image. That's huge nowadays, right? Maybe their talents, their successes, whatever it is. And for a while, it feels satisfying. It feels good. And it gives you purpose. It gives you direction until something goes wrong, right? That relationship falls apart. That career changes. You get laid off. The attention fades. People stop listening to you. Your body starts to age. Can't do what you used to do. And suddenly, you don't know who you are anymore. They call it sometimes a midlife crisis. But that the problem was that your identity was in the wrong thing. And the tragedy of building your identity on something that isn't eternal, it's like anchoring your soul to like this drifting ship. You might feel secure for a moment, but sooner or later that ship's going to move and you'd be left stranded. The Bible tells us that our identity is hidden with Christ in God, right? So that means that you truly are who you are, your worth, your purpose, your meaning. It's not tied to what you do or who you're married to or who you're dating, but to whom you belong, Christ. When Christ is your life, as Paul tells us in Colossians, everything else finds its proper place. And you can find more joy and more fulfillment in those other things, your career, the spouse you love deeply, your hobbies, but you no longer depend on those things to define you. When Jesus is at the center of your life, you are free. It doesn't matter what your wife does. It doesn't matter what your husband does. It doesn't matter what your boss does. It doesn't matter what your friends do. You're not crushed when people disappoint you. The world is full of disappointments, and you're going to experience that. But when your identity is anchored in Christ, you're not lost when you have those ups and downs of the seasons of life. You're not chasing that constant chase of validation in your life because you already have it. You already have the validation in Christ. Think about it. Jesus didn't need anyone's approval when he walked on this earth. He didn't let the praise of the crowd go to his head. He didn't let the rejection of the Pharisees get him all down and discouraged, right? It didn't shape his identity. His confidence came from his Father. And that's the same foundation. I mean, how awesome is that? You and I have the same foundation that Christ had. Christ, we have the same Father, and we're called to stand on that. So I'm going to leave you with a hard question. If everything you value most was taken away tomorrow, your job, your health, your reputation, maybe your family, would you still know who you are? Because if not, maybe your life is anchored to something else than Christ alone. Your identity is not in being successful. It's not in being married. It's not in being admired or talented. It's in being redeemed, loved, forgiven, chosen. We are chosen. How awesome is that? That's who we are in Christ. And when you rest in that truth, life becomes a whole lot steadier, a whole lot simpler. Because no matter what failure comes your way, nobody can undo what God has done. And no success can replace what he offers. So don't let the world define you, right? Don't let your feelings of your achievements, don't let them tell you who you are. Look to Christ. Let his word shape your sense of self-worth, your sense of purpose. You'd be surprised how those little things in life just don't matter as much anymore when your identity is anchored in the right thing. Everything else is temporary. I think as we get older, we realize that more and more, right? Everything's fading away. This life is short, but your identity in Him is eternal. That's where true peace is found, right? Peace in Christ. And that's where your joy becomes unshakable. That's why people who truly have their personality, their identity anchored in Christ, people look at them like, man, that guy's he's got something about him. That girl, she's just got something about her. And that's when you're finally going to discover who you were truly made to be. All right. So love and appreciate you for watching. God bless. I will see you back next time.